In our previous videos, we discussed how to solve quadratic equations by completing the square and by quadratic formula. Now, if you haven't watched those videos, meron tayong link sa description box. Punta lang kayo doon so that you have a complete guide on how to solve quadratic equations. So this time, we're going to discuss how to solve quadratic equations by factoring, which is the easiest method. Now, how do you factor quadratic equations by factoring? Just follow the three-step rule. Step number 1 is to look for GCF. Now, paano ba malalaman kung may GCF? For example, you're given 2x squared plus 4. Ito may GCF ito. Why? Kasi yung 4 is divisible by 2. So, kapag yung lahat ng terms ay divisible doon sa pinakamaliit na number, GCF ang tawag doon. But if, for example, you're given 2x squared plus 4x plus 3, this time wala na itong GCF. Why? Because although 4 is divisible by 2, yun namang 3, hindi natin ma-divide sa 2. So, wala tayong GCF. Kailangan lahat ng terms or lahat ng numerical coefficients ay divisible by 2. Step 2, check whether the trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. Now, bakit importante na malaman kung perfect ang square trinomial? Kasi kung perfect siya, hindi na natin kailangan ng factoring by trial and error. Madali lang ito. Now, paano makikilala? Well, do you know that a square of binomial, kapag in-expand nyo, the resulting trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. So, a plus b quantity squared is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Na kung negative yan, a minus b squared is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Now, by observing the pattern, you will see that pag kinuha natin ang square root noong first and last term ng trinomial natin, square root of a squared is a and the square root of b squared is b, and we multiply it by 2, the resulting product is 2ab, which is the middle term. So kapag nangyari yon, then the trinomial is perfect. Now, kung perfect ang trinomial, paano naman siya ipa-factor? Siyempre, babalik ka lang doon sa square of binomial. Kasi nga, pag in-expand mo ang square ng binomial, perfect square trinomial ang kalalabasan. So, magka-match ang dalawang yan. Reversible yan. So, to illustrate, supposing we have 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Now, kung mapapansin niyo itong trinomial natin, yung leading coefficient, which is 4, at yung constant natin, which is 9, ay parehong perfect square, parehong may square root. Kapag ganyan ang nakita nyo sa trinomial, there is a possibility that this is a perfect square trinomial. But still, you have to verify. Kailangan yung middle term natin ay tumama para maging perfect square trinomial siya. So again, paano check? Just take the square root of the first term and the last term. Square root of 4x squared is 2x and square root of 9 is 3. And then if we multiply it by 2, kailangan lalabas yung middle term. So, 2x times 3 is 6x times 2, 12x. So, it's perfect, no? Kasi lumabas yung middle term, which is 12x. Now, paano naman natin ito ipa-factor? Di ba sabi nga natin, ang perfect square trinomial ay expansion ng square of binomial. So, pag pinactor mo to, square of binomial ang labas. So, paano ipa-factor? Just take the square root of the first and the last terms. So, square root ng 4x squared ay 2x, square root ng 9 is 3, and then take the sign of the middle term and then quantity squared. So, ganun lang mag-factor ng perfect square trinomial. That is why there's no need for trial and error. Okay? Now, if step 1 and step 2 both failed, then we go to step 3. We factor it by trial and error, which is our lesson for today. By the way, this tutorial will be focusing on quadratic trinomials when a is not equal to 1, no? Kasi yung when a equals 1, madali lang yun. Meron na tayong video noon, no? Kung di nyo pa napanood, panoorin nyo lang. So let us consider the following example. Solve each quadratic equation by factoring. Number 1, we have 5n squared plus 19n plus 12 equals 0. So let us follow the three-step rule. First step, do we have a GCF? 5, 19, and 12? Wala, no? Now, second step, is this a perfect square trinomial? Sa first term pa lang ay busted na because 5 is not a perfect square, wala siyang square root. So, the last step is to factor it by trial and error. So, paano natin gagawin yon? So, first, let us take A and C. Ang A natin ay 5 at ang C natin ay 12. So, Anong gagawin natin sa dalawang to? We have to think of any two factors from both of these numbers. Ang 5 naman ay 5 and 1 lang. At ang 12 ay pwedeng 1 and 12, pwedeng 2 times 6, or pwedeng 4 times 3. But my advice is huwag kayong kukuha ng factors na masyadong malayo ang gap like 1 and 12, no? Kasi bihirang gamitin yon. So let us take for instance 4 and 3. Now, ano bang gagawin natin sa mga factors na to? We have to look for a combination in such a way na kapag minultiply natin sila and we add, bakit add? Kasi ang last term natin ay positive. The resulting sum is the middle term, which is 19. So, paano yon? So, supposing I pair 5 with 4 and 1 with 3. The product of 5 and 4 is 20, and the product of 1 and 3 is 3, which will give me a sum of 23. This is not the sum that we want kasi dahil ang target natin ay 19. So, this is not the right combination. Ulitin natin, no? 5, 1, 4, 3. What if I pair 5 with 3 this time and 1 with 4? The product of 1 and 4 is 4, and the product of 5 and 3 is 15. Now, if I add these two, that would give me a sum of 19, which is the sum that we want, no? Yan ang target natin, yung middle term. So, we have the right combination, no? Now, paano natin to gagamitin sa pag-factor? So, first, gawa tayo ng dalawang parentheses and then equate it to 0. The factors of 5n squared, since 5 and 1 tayo, are 5n and n. Now, the factors of 12 are 4 and 3. The problem is, saan natin ilalagay si 4? Dito ba o dito? At saan natin ilalagay si 3? Now, since we pair 5 with 3, dapat dito natin ilagay si 3. Because remember, in a FOIL, yung last terms ang magka-pares, no? Yung last terms. At yung inner, yan yung magka-partner. So, if 3 is here, dapat dito ang 4. Now, ang concern na lang natin yung sign, ano? Since the last term is positive, then kailangan ng sign ng 3 and 4 pareho. So, it's either both are negative or both are positive. But since the middle term is positive, dapat pareho silang positive. Para pag in-add natin yung inner at saka yung outer, will give us a sum of 19n, right? So 4n plus 15n is equal to positive 19n. So the factors of 5n squared plus 19n plus 12 are 5n plus 4 and n plus 3. So now, what's the next step? The next step is to apply the zero product property. 5n plus 4 is equal to 0, or n plus 3 is equal to 0. So if 5n plus 4 equals 0, then 5n is equal to negative 4. Ililipat lang natin yung 4, di ba? And then we divide both sides by 5. So, n is equal to negative 4 fifths. And if n plus 3 equals 0, then n is equal to, lilipat lang yung 3, negative 3. So, what are the two solutions? We have negative 4 fifths and negative 3. Let's have number 2. So, first, do we have a GCF? 3, negative 2, negative 5. Wala na naman tayong GCF. Is this a perfect square trinomial? Hindi rin, because 3 is not a perfect square. So again, let us factor it by trial and error. So kunin natin ang A, which is 3, and C, which is 5. Now, the only factors of 3 are 3 and 1. At yung 5 ay 5 and 1 lang. Now, sino ang ipe-pair natin, ano? Para makakuha tayo ng 2. So this time, kailangan isubtract natin to get a difference of negative 2. Bakit subtraction? Kasi nga yung last term ay negative. So if for example, I pair 3 with 5 and 1 with 1, no? The product of 3 and 5 is 15 and the product of 1 and 1 is 1. So ito sinadya kong maliin, ano? Obviously, 3 times 5, 15, ang laki-laki, di ba? Para makakuha tayo ng difference na 2, masyadong malaki yung 15. So minali ko siya talaga, no? Para makita nyo yung technique. So obviously, dapat ang i-pair natin kay 3 ay si 1 at si 1 kay 5, no? So, we have 3 and 1 and 5 and 1. So, dapat si 3 kay 1 at si 1 kay 5. So that the product of 5 and 1 is 5 and the product of 3 and 1 is 3. So that when I subtract 3 from 5, that would give me a difference of 2. No, di ba? Now, look at the middle term. The middle term is negative 2p. So, dapat negative 2 ang difference natin. So, to make it negative, dapat si 3 ang positive, si 5 ang negative 5. Para maging negative 2 yan, no? Oh, now, let us arrange the factors. Lagay ulit tayo ng dalawang parentheses, equated to 0. So, dito si 3p at dito si p. Kasi 3 and 1 tayo. Now, pinair ko si 3 kay 1. So, dapat dito si 1. Diba? At si 1, pinair kay 5. Kaya dapat dito si 5. Oh, now, yung sign natin, ito na, no? Ito na lang titingnan natin. Dapat negative 5. Sino ba yung 5 dito? Ito yung 5p eh. So, dapat dito si negative 5 at dito yung positive 1. Oh, no. And we expect them to be different in signs, no? Because ang last term natin ay negative 5. Dapat magkaiba sila ng sign talaga. 1 negative and 1 positive, no? At nilagay natin yung negative kay 5 para maging negative 2 yung ating middle term because negative 5p plus 3p will give us negative 2p. Okay? So again, applying the zero product property, we have 3p minus 5 equals 0 or p plus 1 equals 0. If 3p minus 5 equals 0, then 3p is equal to 5. And then we divide both sides by 3. So p is equal to 5 over 3. And if p plus 1 equals 0, then p is equal to negative 1. So the two zeros are 5/3 and negative 1. Number 3, we have 9k squared plus 66k plus 21 equals 0. First step, do we have a DCF? 9, 66, and 21. Yes, we have a DCF because they are all divisible by 3. So, ilalabas natin yung 3 and then parenthesis, open parenthesis para maging 9k squared yan. Kailangan 3k squared tayo dito. Para maging 66, kailangan 22k and 21 divided by 3 is 7 equals 0. Oh, now, ano na mangyayari dito? Ito na ngayon yung ating ipa-factor na lang, no? Yung 3, dyan lang yan. Okay? So, ang A natin ay 3 this time at ang ating C is 7. Now, the only factors of 3 are 3 and 1. Same with 7. The only factors are 7 and 1. So, pagka ganito, madali lang, no? Because ito lang yung combination na meron tayo. Now, sino i-pair ko? Well, para makakuha ako ng 22, no? I think it's logical to choose 3 and 7 para makakuha ko ng 21, right? So, I will pair 3 with 7 and 1 with 1. So, 3 times 7 is 21. 1 times 1 is 1. So that when I add these two, the sum is 22. Ayun, no? Huli na natin yung middle term. So, again, let us arrange the factors. With parentheses, equate to 0. So, 3k tayo dito. Dito ay k. Now, since I pair 3 with 7, dapat dito si 7, outer, no? Lagi magka-partner yung dalawang yan. And since I pair 1 with 1, dito yung 1 natin. Again, All terms are positive. Lahat yan positive. So the next step is to apply the zero product property. 3k plus 1 equals 0. Or k plus 7 equals 0. If 3k plus 1 equals 0, then 3k equals negative 1. Then we divide both sides by 3. So k is equal to negative 1/3. And if k plus 7 equals 0, then k equals negative 7. So what are the two solutions? Negative 1/3 and negative 7. Let's now go to number 4. We are given 4x squared minus 28x plus 49 equals 0. First step, meron ba tayong GCF for 28, 49? Wala, no? Second step, is this a perfect square trinomial? Now, looking at the first and the last terms, pareho silang perfect square, no? So pagka ganon, medyo magduda na kayo, baka ito ay perfect. But we need to verify, no? Paano natin i-check? Let us take the square root of the first and the last term. Square root ng 4x squared ay 2x. Square root of 49 is 7. Now, if we multiply these two, 2x times 7 is 14x. And we will multiply it by 2. The resulting product is 28x, which is our middle term. So this is perfect, no? It's a perfect square trinomial. So paano nga natin pinafactor ang perfect square trinomial? Ito, kukunin nyo lang yung square root ng first and last term. Ito na yon, 2x and 7. And whatever is the sign of the middle term, kokopyahin nyo lang, and then quantity squared. So these are the factors of 4x squared minus 28x plus 49. Okay? Now, what's the next step? The next step is to apply again the zero product property, no? So 2x minus 7 equals 0. Pareho lang naman 2x minus 7 yan dahil naka-squared yan. So isa na lang ang ano natin, no? 2x minus 7. If 2x minus 7 equals 0, then 2x is equal to 7. And then we divide both sides by 2. Therefore, x is equal to 7 over 2. Now, we call 7 over 2 the double root, no? Bakit siya double root? Kasi naka-square yan, no? Kumbaga, ang solution natin, dalawang 7 over 2, no? Kaya double root ang tawag sa kanya. That is the case if a trinomial is a perfect square trinomial. So, let's have the last number, number 5, 15m squared minus 27m minus 6 equals 0. First step, do we have a GCF? Well, 15, 20, negative 27, negative 6, they are all divisible by 3. No? So we have a GCF, which is 3. So labas ang 3. Open parenthesis. So dito, 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5m squared. Negative 27 divided by 3 is negative 9. 9m. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Equals 0. So let us now take A and C. Our A this time is 5 and C is 2. Factors of 5, 5 and 1 lang. At ang factors ng 2 ay 2 and 1 lang. So madali lang din to, no? Kasi ito lang ang combination na meron tayo. Now we need a middle term which is negative 9. Siyempre, ang ipe-pair ko kay 5 si 2. Pag pinair ko si 5 kay 1, 5 lang yan, and then 2. Pag sinubtract ko ang 5 minus 2, that would give me 3. Ang layo sa 9, di ba? So, I will pair 5 with 2 and 1 with 1. No? 5 times 2 is 10 kasi, at 1 times 1 is 1. So, nami-mental naman yun di ba? The difference of 10 and 1 is equal to 9. So, that is the right combination. Now, since ang middle term natin ay negative, 10 must be negative and 1 must be positive para maging negative 9 to. Oh, now, ayusin na natin, ano? Again, let us put a pair of parentheses and equate to 0. factors ng 15 natin, again, is 5 lang naman at saka 1. So, we have 5m and m. Since I pair 5 with 2, dito ko lalagay si 2 at dito si 1. Oh, since dapat ay negative 10, ito yung 10 natin, yung outer terms. So, dapat dito ang negative 2. And this one is positive 1. So, again, since the last term is negative, talagang dapat magkaiba sila ng sign, no? And if you check, no, the inner term is 1m and the outer term is negative 10m. Pag kinombine nyo, negative 10 plus m will give you negative 9m. Okay? So, let us now apply the zero product property. 5m plus 1 equals 0. M minus 2 equals 0. If 5m plus 1 equals 0, then 5m equals negative 1. And then we divide both sides by 5. So m is equal to negative 1/5. If m minus 2 equals 0, then m is equal to 2. So the solutions are negative 1/5 and 2. Now, marami nga palang nagtatanong, Sir, ano nangyayari dito kay 3? Well, wala lang, no? Parang naging dekorasyon na lang si 3 dyan. Kasi hindi naman natin pwedeng equate sa 0 si 3, di ba? 3 is obviously not equal to 0. Ito lang ang pwede natin equate sa 0. Ito lang ang pwede natin gamitan ng zero product property kasi may variables yan. Okay? So, that's it.